Okay. Before I start, I just want to quote one of my mentors, Dr. Cheryl Goodall. Science and art belong together. Indeed, they are the flip side of the same coin. Science is a discipline carried out with passion, and art is passion carried out with discipline. We at Bankstown Women's Health Centre are passionate about wellness, and we carry out our passion with discipline. Wellness for Women is a project funded by the Cancer Institute, developed by Bankstown Women's Health Centre to promote wellness, because we believe that disease is the absence of wellness and not the other way around. We bring in, we bring out, we explore, we encourage, promote and develop wellness through a variety of educational and most importantly, experiential modalities. Human beings are exquisitely complex, and each person's path to healing is unique and often requires a multifaceted approach. Wellness for Women is a holistic program that includes nourishment of the mind, body and soul, reflective activities such as mindfulness, deep rest, including meditation, enjoyable movement such as dance movement therapy, which is a little example of what I just gave you now, and yoga, connection and support, creativity, and even some play. I believe we have a model that works, and this is reflected in our evaluations. Our focus is on living well with cancer rather than being a cancer patient. Research shows, as you know, that multicultural women affected by cancer experience poorer outcomes compared with other population groups. They experience extensive physical, emotional, and social suffering. A significant amount of the suffering is caused by the myths and beliefs surrounding cancer among the community. The misinformation around cancer, what it is, how it develops, and the treatment options are all addressed through the educational components of the program. But another and equally important factor in this wellness program is the need to address the trauma experienced from the process of testing, diagnosis, treatment, and hospital stays, which affects their mental health well after the treatment is over. Many of our clients come from an already traumatic background, and the cancer diagnosis contributes to a compounded trauma that can exacerbate their personal and social suffering. A classic example of a psychosomatic response after treatment is anticipatory nausea and vomiting, or ANV. Research reports that ANV can occur long after treatment is over. Many women who attend the Wellness for Women group report that their experience of ANV escalates when near any hospital, but particularly the hospital in which they receive their treatment. Women also reported that they would attend a wellness program in the community rather than the hospital for this very reason. So it makes sense to offer a post-treatment wellness program in the community because the hospital setting speaks illness and treatment rather than wellness. We cannot underestimate the impact of the trauma that still exists within the nervous system of these women. This is being addressed through mind-body practices informed by the latest neuroscience, designed to help women shift into their ventral vagal branch of their parasympathetic nervous system, inducing a visceral feeling of safety and calmness. This is a direct application of Dr. Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory. This visceral feeling of safety not only provides space for the expression of feelings about the illness, but it also makes them receptive to new information. Working with the non-verbal is a very effective way of helping women become receptive to education. Evidence-informed modalities delivered by highly qualified and experienced bilingual practitioners are the cornerstones of the Wellness for Women program. From my clinical observations, I can see that women don't want more education because it overloads their already overstimulated and overwhelmed nervous system. They want peace of mind first, and then they are open to information. The mind-body relationship is bidirectional. It can be mind over matter, yes, but it can also be matter over mind. Dance movement therapy, I am a dance movement therapist, is a modality that is predicated on this idea and has been since its inception in 1966, the year I was born. Patterns learned and insights gained through moving in expressive ways in the context of a psychologically safe therapeutic relationship can and does generalize into other areas of life. This has been evidenced through our evaluations. We provide an active rather than a passive experience of the body and its capacity to heal itself, to restore faith in the body as a functional, self-regulating system that contains intelligence. Many of our clients come to know about wellness for women through word of mouth. Multicultural women are out there talking to each other about the benefits and unique nature of this culturally appropriate women-only group. During the past 12 months, 32 women from predominantly Arabic and Vietnamese backgrounds have accessed the group as cancer survivors, 16 with breast cancer, 2 brain, 2 bowel, 1 lung, 2 stomach, 2 with metastasized cancers, and 7 did not wish to disclose or discuss their cancer. In addition, 40 women have attended the Mentors Training and Leadership Program to prepare them to become mentors in their respective communities. In closing, Bankstown Women's Health Centre is passionate about wellness, and we carry out our passion with discipline. We embrace innovation and cutting-edge modalities in our quest to reach our vision of an empowered community that supports the health and well-being of all women and their families. If you're interested in experiencing a sample of our Wellness for Women and Men for Today project, I invite you to a 25-minute experiential session called Matter Over Mind at 1:30 in the Wentworth Room on level 5. I believe it's at capacity, but if you just turn up and see, we might be able to fit you in. Thank you. Can I just call my colleague Kerrie Newcombe up to the stage, please, to help me with answering questions?
Do we have some questions? We are actually ahead of time. Please come up. I've got a question, because as I said earlier, a naturally curious person. With your model that you have developed, is it translatable to non-called groups of women that we could use? Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely so. I mean, this model is reproducible to any cultural group, but the good thing about the multicultural group is that the facilitators are also from that group that they are working with. So I'm working with predominantly Arabic women. I'm also an Arabic-speaking woman. Our Vietnamese group is predominantly Vietnamese, but not only Vietnamese, but they have a Vietnamese-speaking facilitator, and I think that's really important to have a facilitator who is representative of the group that you're working with.
And if I can,
Please do.
if I could just add to that a little bit, yes, the model is transferable, but we find when you experience cancer, being diagnosed with cancer, as I was 5 years ago, you really need to connect. You need to connect to where you feel safe, where it's culturally safe, where you know you feel supported, and we find that having a culturally specific Wellness for Women at Fairfield, targeting Vietnamese women. So you gain your sense of belonging, your sense of connection is really, really important when you're going through cancer. And this is what we find. We've got the Vietnamese facilitator. They're highly trained, by the way, in either dance movement therapy, yoga, mindfulness, the mind and body connection. So having that specific cultural background facilitator, highly trained facilitator, is so very important. That's where it really sits, in this inequity situation out in southwest Sydney. So, me being the Anglo right back to Captain Cook Day, sure, when I had cancer, I needed to connect with others from my culture so I can really understand how the Arabic women need to connect with their culture, the Vietnamese need to connect with their culture. Every identified culture needs to really connect. That's where it sort of sits. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. We are a little ahead of... Oh, we have a question. There's a hand up at the back.
Thank you, Kerrie and Juliette. Lovely presentation. I'm aware that you did some work recently with the Aboriginal women and Arabic-speaking women. Would you be able to tell us a little bit more about that? Thank you.
Yes, we just recently, I recently co-facilitated a retreat for Aboriginal women and Arabic women, and it was a cultural exchange of sorts, you could say, that the Aboriginal ladies identified that they would really like to get to know their Arabic sisters. And we went away for two nights, 2 days out in bush, and we connected, we exchanged recipes, we exchanged cultural dances, we exchanged stories, and in the end we found that we had more in common than we had differences. We are all displaced, so it's not just our Indigenous community that has a sense of displacement, but everybody who came here is also displaced because they came from somewhere else, and the key is for everybody to connect with the land, this land, on a visceral level rather than just on an academic level. So that was one thing that really came out of that, and it's a one of a kind, and it was fantastic.
Okay, thank you both very much, and please join us for lunch in the foyer.